Hi, welcome back to our channel, and this is Motion Graphics Basics episode 3. And today we'll be discussing about alpha mattes. I will be dividing this video into 3 main segments. The first segment is we'll discuss about what alpha mattes are and how does it work exactly. The second segment would be about usage examples. How do we use alpha mattes in our motion graphics project? And the third segment is a how-to tutorial based on those examples. I will walk you through step by step on how to do those techniques. I would put timestamps in the description below just in case you want to jump to specific topics, but I would recommend you to watch everything. In order to be an effective motion graphics animator, don't just try to know how to do something, but to go deeper and try to understand how it all works, so that you can apply these techniques not only in the examples that I'm going to show you, but in any problem that you encounter in the future, or any concept that you could think of in your future projects. So let's get to it. So what are alpha mattes? Alpha mattes act like a mask. So I have here After Effects, and I already have imported the necessary assets right here. So First, I have Comp 1. So Comp 1 is my active composition right here. I'm in Comp 1. And now let's put this Scene 1 AI. So all of them I've imported these AI and Photoshop files as a footage, right? They're only just one layer. So I'm going to put the Scene.ai into my composition. And now if we want to apply a mask, so for example, so this is just one layer, right? It's just one layer and it's a whole scene. And if we want to reveal only a specific portion of this, we can use an alpha matte. And in order to do that, we need to add a layer on top of this that would act as a mask. So that layer on top of it could be a shape layer, it can be a composition or another footage. So for now, let's use a shape layer. I'm just going to use this ellipse tool and change the stroke to empty and change the fill to any color. I'm just going to create an ellipse. And to apply alpha matte, make sure that you could see this TRK MAT. That means track matte. If you can't see this, you probably have to make sure that you have this checked, this icon, or this one, so that you could have everything. Just make sure you could see this. And if we go to scene this layer below it, this whole scene, now we have the option for the track matte, and currently it's none. If we change this to alpha matte, what it does is it takes the form of whatever layer is above it. So currently we have an ellipse. So it takes the form of the shape above it, and it hides everything else, right? And it only reveals that specific shape or form. And when we do alpha mattes, what it does is it automatically hides the layer above it. So if we click show this, it disables the alpha matte, and we only have this shape. Now if we hide this, that enables the alpha matte. So we can, because this takes the form of the layer above it, we can change the shape So let me show this first, so we don't accidentally click the Scene.ai layer. If we change the form of this, right, like that, and change it elsewhere, and then let's activate the alpha matte, it's gonna take that form. And currently we don't have a stroke, so let's try what happens if we enable a stroke. See, there's a bit of extension because currently my stroke width is 80. And if I'm gonna increase this, see, it's going to have that, because now the overall shape looks like this. Now in terms of the alpha matte, it doesn't matter what the color is, right? So if I'm just gonna change this to whatever color that you want, it doesn't matter, because what matters is the overall shape of your alpha matte. So now I'm just gonna click this alpha matte, and let's go back to no track matte, and let's delete this shape layer above it. So what if we insert a different image, like for example this, right? This one. What happens if we apply alpha? This would be our alpha matte, right? So this is the layer on top, and this is the layer below it. So if we're gonna click alpha matte, see, it's nothing, because the overall shape of the layer above it has this background. It's a rectangle. So even if I'm gonna reduce the scale, see, this is a rectangle. So if we turn that on, so it acts like the mask is a rectangle. So what if we have this character only with a transparent background? So the form is in the form of this character. What happens then? So now we already have the alpha matte right here set to alpha matte. Now we only need to hide this to activate it, hide the layer above it to activate the alpha matte. And this is what happens. See, because it takes the form of the alpha matte. So it doesn't care about what kind of design you put inside of it. What it cares about is the overall silhouette of the layer above the one that you're gonna apply the alpha matte to. So with this, we can change the scale, and we can even animate this. So if we're gonna, for example, I'm gonna animate the position, keyframe the position, move forward in time, and move this, and then play that. So that's gonna be the effect. So now what would happen if we put another comp right on top of this? So let's do that. So I'm gonna delete this, and so let's do that. Let's put a comp on top of this. So let's first create a new composition, and let's make an animation inside of that new composition. So let's create here a new comp, and let's rename this to animation. Okay, any file name that you'd want, doesn't matter. So now let's just make an ellipse, and I'm just gonna turn the stroke to none, and any color will do. Again, in alpha mattes, it doesn't matter what the color is. So for example, I have this circle, and let's just animate it, maybe just a scale and position animation. So just easy ease. So now I'm gonna animate the position, move forward in time, and move this. Right, so that's gonna be the animation, and once it goes here, let's put the scale to 0, it disappears. Right, so that's gonna be something like that. And easy ease the position. So the shortcut for easy ease is F9. So you select the keyframes and press F9. Now let's add a few more shapes here. Maybe another circle, a bigger circle. And maybe for this, let's just animate the scale. So it's just gonna go from 0 scale to 100, 0 scale to 100, and then it would exit from 100 to 0. So that would be our next animation. Then easy ease. So from 0 to 100, then 100 to 0. And then I'm gonna duplicate this, Command D on a Mac, Control D on a Windows, and I'm just gonna place this somewhere else. Adjust the starting animation. So see, I'm adjusting it in the timeline, and let's have this. Let's have that animation. Okay, now let's go back to Comp 1, and I'm gonna have this animation comp. I'm gonna drag it and put it on top. And now we already have the alpha mattes selected here, but currently we see nothing because the animation here is see that, right? It's disabled, right? So let's hide this layer on top. right? So this is gonna be the effect. So alpha mats would only take the form of the layer above it. If you have another layer on top of it, this, for example, I have this, right? I have this layer. So this layer, the alpha mat of that is this layer. It doesn't include this one. So as you can see, this one isn't being applied as an alpha mat. It only applies the layer directly on top of it. So now let's delete this. So if you click this and choose, what is this alpha inverted mat? What does that mean? So let's try that out. So basically it's the opposite of the alpha mat. So meaning it will show everything except the form of the layer on top of it. So where do we use alpha mats? We can use it for write-on animations. We can also use it for entrance animations like these, or an abstract experimental animation like these ones, or a comics style panel like animation like these. Now next I'm gonna teach you how to do this thing, so we can divide this segment further into 3. I'll also put timestamps in the description if you want to watch that specific tutorial. So first, I'll teach you how to do a write-on animation. Second, I'll teach you how to use alpha mat to transition like these. And third, we're gonna use alpha mat to achieve this effect. And lastly, we'll use alpha mats to achieve this comic book style panel like effect. So now let's start. So now let's start with the write-on animation. So let's create a new composition for that. I'm gonna click composition, new comp, and let's just rename this to write-on animation. So we have a new layer. So to start, let's click this text and let's write any text. Or before that, let's add a solid. I don't want a transparent or a black background. So click here, layer, new, and solid. And I'm good with that color. Click OK. And then let's write our first text. And for the text, I think I'm gonna use white. And let's just use hello for this. And I'm just gonna scale it up, and I'm going to turn on this guide, so I know where the center is. So now we're gonna do a write-on animation, and to do that we're gonna use this shape layer line technique, and I'm gonna use trim paths. If you don't know how to use trim paths, we have discussed that in episode 1, and I will link that in the screen. You could click on that and watch that video first if you'd like. So now let's get to it. And since alpha mats would only take one layer, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create multiple lines and then group them together and pre-comp them, right? So that they're just one layer. So first, let's not worry about that yet. Let's first create our that shape. So first, I'm gonna draw this. It's a line, and currently my stroke is empty. What we're gonna do is let's make the fill empty, and let's have a stroke. Any color would do because this is the alpha mat. And let's adjust the width that it's just exactly the width of that font. And let me adjust the shape, the path of this. I think that would be good. Okay, so we have finished that. Next is I'm just gonna zoom in, right? And we're gonna do this part by part because what we want is there's gonna be a right-on animation. Like this one would go down, then here, then the rest of the letters. So I'm gonna make another line here. I think that's good, or I'll just adjust this a little bit and make another line. Yeah, I think that's good. For E, it's gonna start here. We don't want that to happen, so let me recreate that. Click. Okay, that's good. I'm just gonna adjust this, move this a bit to the right. We don't want that space, we want it to be exact. So for this, we can make it a bit over and here, because this is just the alpha mat. For this one, that hole here, we don't want that. So what we can do is adjust our path. We don't want that. Adjust this again. Now for the letter L. Here I need to adjust the path. And for the last letter, for the O, I think we can use just the ellipse. This one. And let's just increase the stroke width so that it would cover everything. I think like that would be good. Now let's apply trim path. So let's go to this shape layer here and click the expand, click add, and this trim paths. And now let's animate the trim paths. So it's gonna have this effect, right? So from 0, I'm gonna keyframe this, move forward in time, and make this to 100. So now it's gonna have this effect. And I'm gonna select the keyframes and F9 this, easy ease. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna select this, I'm gonna copy, and I'm gonna paste it to all of the frames. So I don't have to manually add the trim paths for all of those. So I'm gonna select this to here, and then I'm just gonna click paste, and it's going to have that effect. Now let's do the domino effect. We don't want them to write on at the same time, right? We want to replicate like you're writing on paper, right? How do you, like when you write the letter H, right? You start from here to down, then left to right, then up to down. I'm trying to replicate how you write naturally. So to do that, let's first select all of the shape layer and click U on your keyboard so we could see all of the frames. Let me just adjust this, and let's have the domino effect, right? I'm gonna delay this so it'll have the domino effect. I'm not sure if there's a plugin for this to automate the domino effect. Most of the time in projects, I'm just manually doing this. So now let's take a look at our animation. Yeah, I think that's good. But for the O, it's a bit fast. Let's extend this to slow it down a bit. Yeah, I think that's good. And what we have to do, because since this is multiple layers, right? So if we click the hello and we want to alpha matte this, right? It's only going to alpha matte that one layer. It's not going to apply to all of them. So what we can do is select all of our shape layer, and I have selected all the shape layer, and pre-comp this. And the shortcut for pre-comp is Command-Shift-C. and let's just rename this as right on mask. That would be the name of the composition. So now it's one layer. So if we alpha matte this, it would be like mask to the whole animation, right? So there we go. So I'm gonna zoom out and play, and then that's it. So we could also try a different another thing is we could duplicate this. So I have duplicated it. We have two hellos now, right? They are on top of each other, and what we can do is the one below we could, or the one above, we could change the color of this. Let's say something green like this, and we can delay this one, both of them. So select the alpha matte and the layer itself, and we could delay this by a bit, and we could have that effect. It's a bit slow for my liking, right? If we want to make it a bit faster, we could go back here, right? And I'm just going to click the left bracket on the keyboard to bring them back to this. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna speed up everything. I'm gonna select all of the keyframes and push them back a bit to make them a bit faster, and then manually delay them. And let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's better. There's a bit of, I want to adjust it here, because if you look at this, right, this part, this path here, this line here hasn't finished yet, and this one is already starting the animation. I don't like that because it doesn't replicate the way we write, right? So what I want to do is I'm gonna click it here, and I want this to be delayed. I want this line to finish first before here. Same for this one. So this line, I'm gonna delay that a bit. Yeah, that would be good. So now let's have a look. And if you want to add more colors to this, we could select both of this layer and duplicate them again and delay them. And maybe for this hello 2 right here, maybe I'm gonna change this to black. And let's have a look at the effect. So that's going to be the effect. So next we are going to do the transition animation, and to do that, let's first create a new composition, and let's just rename this to swipe transition. And again, let's just create a solid, and let's just use this character only illustration. It can be anything. It could be your own illustration here. So what I use alpha mattes for usually is have this one like animated from below. So let's first do the animation of this. So from this one, it's gonna have that animation. I think that's gonna be too slow, and I'm gonna like ease this. So it's gonna be something like that. Now, but I don't want it to go from like below the screen. So to ease that transition, normally I would just create a rectangle here, and let's not use empty. Let's have this a color, and let's empty the stroke. So now what we would do is just set this layer, set its track math to alpha matte. So let's play this. So it's gonna be that effect. It's a bit too fast, so let's extend this to slow it down. So it's gonna be like that. We could even change the shape. So let's delete this shape layer here, and you can use a circle. And make sure you don't select this, so it won't make it a mask, right? So that we could make sure that this is gonna be an alpha matte. So currently it's set to alpha, but we have this shown. So let's hide this to activate the alpha mat. And let's just make this the center of the character. So it's gonna be like that. And you could even duplicate this and click the reveal button here and put that below the character. It's gonna have this effect. So next, what we're going to do is the experimental text mirror like animation. So let's first create a new composition and let's rename this to experimental text. Again, I want to have a background, so let's just have a solid for the background, and I'm gonna lock this. And first we need the text. I'm gonna change the color of the text to white, and let's just use hello for that. I think that would be it. And now what we have to do for this effect is we want the reflection, or the one being alpha mat, to be a bit bigger than this, to have that optical illusion. So I'm gonna duplicate this, right? So I have two of them now, and I'm gonna like extend this. And let's just change the color of this. Maybe I would want something green or yellow-green, because it has a nice contrast with the background. It's like it's an energy company or something. So now for the alpha mat, I'm just gonna use the shape, the rectangle tool, and have it like this. And I'm just gonna set the anchor point to the center right here, and the shortcut for that is Y on your keyboard. If you press Y, you can now change the anchor point. And now what I want for the alpha mat is for this green object to have this wipe on effect, right? So let's animate this. So this is actually just an easy animation, but it would have a very cool effect and have it wipe on right here, and easy ease this. And let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's good. Extend this a bit there, and then this, set the track mat to alpha mat, and we have that effect. It's a bit fast. Let's extend the keyframes, so it's gonna be something like that. Now let's duplicate this hello again. So we have now 3 hellos, and put this on top. And now let's make this a bit bigger, and maybe change this to black, something like that. And now we're gonna use again this rectangle tool, and I'm gonna rotate it. The shortcut for the rotation tool, you could select this or W on your keyboard and have it like this. And now what I want for this black text is it's gonna have this direction of the wipe on. And let's see what kind of effect it gives. So again, it's just gonna be a position for this. I think we could use the same timing, and then easy ease, and alpha mat this, and let's see the effect. And there is no limit to this. You can add as many wipe on animation as you want. And for this text here, we could even make it like bigger. It's not the same to this green color, and it's gonna have that effect. And we have to adjust the alpha mat, right, from not revealing anything to wipe on. So let's add one more hello here. I'm gonna duplicate this. Oh, by the way, the shortcut for duplicate is Command D on a Mac and Control D on a Windows. So I'm gonna make this bigger and make this color yellow. I think would be good. or yellow that is a bit orange, something like that, I think. And now let's have another rectangle, maybe something like this. And what I want about this is it's going to have this effect. So it's not going to reveal the whole hello, just a portion of it. So you could actually try different patterns here, and it's gonna give you this cool mirror effect like effect. So now let's just easy ease this. And for this one, I'm just gonna alpha matte, and I think we're done for this. I think this would be better if this one is a bit bigger, and something like that, I think. So I don't like this. See, we could see a bit a portion of that. Let's adjust the alpha matte. So let's reveal the alpha matte first. And now I want to adjust the whole thing, right? The whole animation. And to adjust the whole animation, what you need to do is you need to be on that keyframe. And then you're gonna select all of the keyframes, and then you can now move this. As you can see, it's not gonna create a new keyframe, or it's not gonna adjust the keyframe, but it's gonna move the whole thing. But if you're not on that keyframe, right, and you move it, it's gonna add a new keyframe right here. So if you wanna move the whole thing, the whole position, you go to that specific keyframe, and then you select all of the keyframe, and then you can adjust. And let's hide this to activate the what was that? To activate the alpha matte. So I think that's good. I think we're good with this. And now the last thing that we're gonna do is that comic book style panel-like animation. So let's create a new comp, and let's just rename this to comic book style. Again, I want to have a background for this, and so I'm gonna select a solid. I'm good with that color, but you could choose whatever color you like. And now I have here this. I have illustrated this guy. This have a transparent background. So as you can see, if I'm gonna deselect that, this is transparent, right? Doesn't have a background. So now this is the background. And what we're gonna do is we want to have that comic book focusing on the face, trying to show the motivation of this character. And what we can do is we can do the same style that we did before, right? Duplicate this, and then shoot this up to a very big scale, something like that. So I have this one below, and this one I'm gonna use the alpha matte technique. So next I'm gonna use this rectangle tool, because we're going to have something like this. Make sure the anchor point is at the middle. Again, to adjust the anchor point, you press Y on the keyboard, and now set this to the middle. Now I'm gonna just animate the scale. So I have keyframed it here. I'm gonna move it forward, and we're gonna have the animation from thin to thick, something like that, right? And I think that we could extend this a bit further, and easy ease this, something like that, and alpha matte this one, and so it's gonna have that effect. But it feels a bit weird because it feels like it's cut off. We need to have a separate background for this. Since we already have animated this, we could duplicate this, right, and show this one and put this one below that. So it's gonna have this effect. Now we could what I want is I want this one to be at the face. So let's just select this. And since we haven't animated the position, it's okay to move the position of this to somewhere here. So it's gonna have that effect, right? It's like it's a comic book, or it's like in anime. Or we could even animate the one, this guy, right? This guy. We could also animate that, have a slow pan. So if we're just gonna click position, animate the position, and this is going to be a slow pan. So I'm gonna move forward like maybe 3 seconds, and it's going to do something like that. And that's it. We're done. So I'm going to post the project file of this on Patreon in case you want to check it out. I will leave the link in the description below. But I hope that I made this tutorial easy enough to follow that you don't need the project file anymore. But just in case you just want to check it out, it is there in the description below. And for our Patreon page, if you support us on Patreon for $5 a month, not only you get access to this project file, but also to all of the other project files that we post on Patreon monthly. And I think that's it. If you like this video, if this video helped you, I would appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up. I believe that it would help with the algorithm to get this video to other people who might benefit from this. And if you wanna watch more videos like this in the future, please subscribe. And I hope to see you on the next video.